Hey everyone, this is Sarah from Misadventure Pants, and I'm going to show you how to print a topo map to take with you on your hike. And we're going to use a free online tool called Caltopo. So let's go on over to Chrome, and I'm going to surf my way over to caltopo.com. Caltopo is just one of a couple free online mapping, topographic mapping platforms you can use. Another one that's really popular is called Hillmap. They all do have slightly different features. There's not one that does everything that I love. So I'm going to start with Caltopo just because this one is pretty powerful and it's also pretty easy for beginners to navigate. So first I'm going to enter. Let's say that I want to take a hike to Emerald Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. So I'm going to enter Emerald Lake in the search field. Now notice I got to a lake called Emerald Lake, but if I zoom out, it's not really the one I want. It's in something called Yoho National Park, which I have no idea what that is. So let's actually add Colorado. CO onto the end, and this is much better. I actually kind of recognize this map, and there's Emerald Lake, and actually I bet if I zoom out, it's going to say Rocky Mountain National Park, and it does. So just a couple things that you can play with on Caltopo. Right now I'm looking at the 7.5-minute topographic map, and if I click on this, I can actually turn on slope angle shading, so you can see some shadows. It kind of gives it a 3D texture. I actually don't like that, so I'm going to turn it off. But if that makes it, especially when you're new to topographic maps, sometimes that can make it a little bit easier to visualize what you're seeing. If you look at these layers, there's some really cool things you can do here. I can turn on slope angle shading, and it'll actually color in all the areas that are between 27 and 50 degrees. With a scale, and these are areas that could slide in avalanche conditions, so that's a really good one to you can actually include that on your map and print it out if you want to. I'm not going to right now. There's also this one called Map Builder that colors in all the trails. Now, as you can see, it's not perfect. You can see here's on this switchback, this is the true trail, and then Map Builder, it's a little bit off. And actually, in my experience, the true trail is a lot more accurate than Map Builder, so this can be a useful tool. It works better for some trails than others. You can experiment and see if it works for you. Let's see. Oh, and you can get a bunch of weather data from this. If I hit temperature, it'll tell me the high or the low temperature. I can toggle it with this switch. I can look at precipitation. I can look at wind speed. Ooh, it's kind of windy up there right now. And if there's a SNOTEL site that's collecting snow data, I can actually, if I click this box, that'll mark those on the map. And there actually is one next to Bear Lake. So if I click on it, I can get some data about how much snow is up there. And looks like about 44 inches at the moment. So pretty snowy up there by the lake. A couple other things I can do. I'm going to shut off SNOTEL. Oh, it's off. Okay. And shut off the shading. Let's say I want to put some markers on this map so I know where things are. For example, I want to mark where I'm going to leave my car in the parking lot. And I can add marker. And you can give it a label. We'll call it car. It'll actually, once I move it to the place where I want it, it'll show me the latitude and longitude. And then I can choose which marker I want to use. They actually have one that looks like a car, and it actually just drops this in the middle of the screen. So now I need to move it to the parking lot by Bear Lake, which I know is right there. So that's pretty cool. And then let's say I want to add a marker so that I can find a trail junction that I don't want to miss. I can put a marker on the map, trail junction. And then I don't really want it to be a car, so I can click on this again and edit. Let's see. I'll make this just a dot. I'll change the color. And there it is. Drag this over to the first trail junction, which I think is right there. And that'll remind me to turn right there and not go down to Glacier Gorge. I need to keep going this way to go up to Nymph Lake. So those are some cool things you can do. If you want to shut off these labels, by the way, you do that from the configuration menu. I can turn them off. I can turn them on. I can even put up backgrounds on them so it's a little bit easier to see the labels. I'm gonna turn them off for now. Okay, so you're probably wondering, this is great. How do I get this from my computer onto paper so I can actually take it with me? So let's do that right now. I go up to, I think, oh yeah, print to PDF. And it's gonna pull up another tab for you. And you're gonna change a couple of settings here. So you can set the page size for your printer. I would set the scale, if it's not already set, to 1 to 24,000. That's a very nice scale for working with topo maps. And it's kind of a standard scale. When it's set to that, 1 inch on your map equals about 2,000 feet. So it makes measuring distance really easy. So geospatial PDF, you can leave. I usually turn on the UTM grid lines and just leave it at auto. UTM is another grid system. It's kind of like latitude and longitude. It gives you a point location with 2 coordinates. One of the great things about using it is it's going to make a really nice grid on my map that's going to be it's going to have perfectly vertical and horizontal lines that's going to be helpful for compass work. So if you're doing any compass work, I definitely turn it on for that reason. UTM is also very popular with GPS, so you can use it to switch back and forth between the two. Let's see, so UTM, I'm gonna turn it on. Most of this stuff is pretty, you can leave it. Oh, and this is another useful feature. So let's say that, you know, I really wanna get more detail. Like let's say I wanna include, so here's the car, here's Emerald Lake, but I wanna include Flat Top Mountain and some of the topography out in this direction in my map. So I'm actually gonna turn it so that it's oriented landscape, and then I can drag it so that I have my car, I have a bit of the road, I have the whole trail to Emerald Lake, and then I have some of the surrounding peaks on here too that I can use to orient myself and even get a bearing on with my compass. So this is a really nice map for this particular hike. And then when I'm ready, hit generate PDF, it opens yet another tab. And very slowly pulls up my map. And you can see all my points that I added are here. I have nice, perfectly vertical and horizontal grid lines I can use and UTM coordinates. And then if I slide down, you can also see I have a nice scale I can use to measure distance. I don't know why that word was so hard for me just now. And one other thing that's useful to note, if you're working with a compass, I also have the declination for this area showing on the map right here. I know that it's 8 degrees positive, so I need to account for that in my compass work. One more, so I can print this. I usually just print them on my cheap inkjet printer. They print out fine. Use good quality color printing to get all the detail, and you'll have a beautiful map that you can carry with you in the backcountry. If I wanted to do a longer hike, I could also go back and move this and print another section of it. Sometimes, especially working with this paper size, you're gonna have to print a couple of pages to get everything on there, and then you can just fold the maps and hold them together if you need to see the entire route. So that is my little tutorial on printing a topo map. I hope it really helps you, and you can have fun with maps and practice your skills and be safer in the backcountry. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.